See you guys.
I'm gonna go stop. No, I already gave you This is the board. Sorry, it's late. Okay. Call to order, please. Regular meeting of the school board, 2.0, or, sorry, pages 2.02 for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. 2.03, adoption of the agenda. It is recommended that the agenda for July 12, 2023, regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be adopted as presented.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 is recognition. We have nothing. 4, comments and questions from the floor. 4.01, representatives of the Mishawaka Parent Group. 4.02, representatives of school employees. 4.03, representatives of the Mishawaka Education Foundation. And we have Shar. Welcome.
Thank you, President Parks and Dr. Stevens, school board, and guests. I appreciate the time to be able to speak to you and give you an update on the Mishawaka Education Foundation. For those of you, I am Shar Spiker. I'm serving on the board currently. And for the benefit of those who don't know what the mission of the foundation is, it's to provide SCM educators and students with sustainable funding required to achieve extraordinary educational opportunities. This past Monday, MEF held the 6th annual Chip In for Education Golf Benefit. It was at Morris Park Country Club once again, and the benefit was created 6 years ago to provide funding for academic competitions. Since then, that has expanded, and we now also support fine arts as well as athletics. This year's $15,000 presenting sponsor was AFDent, Family Friendly Dentistry. And we also have a very generous anonymous benefactor who has been with us for the 6 years that we have been doing this event, and we're very, very grateful. This year they had 35 teams. It's a far cry from the 18 that we had the first year. So as you can see, this event is growing and people are enjoying it because of the many volunteers, those of you that are in the room that were there as a volunteer, as well as the players. Thank you, players, for being there. Without the players, we wouldn't have a golf benefit. And the weather was perfect. We couldn't have ordered better weather. And while all the expenses are not in, we feel that the estimate is somewhere between $60,000 to $63,000 that event will bring in. Next is the MEF's next major fundraiser, and that's going to be the 11th Growing the Future online auction and dinner gala. It'll take place Saturday, August the 19th, at Notre Dame Downs Ballroom, which is a different room than we were in last year. But it still overlooks the Notre Dame Stadium with views of the Golden Dome, the Basilica, and Touchdown Jesus. Individual tickets are $75. A table is $700. VIP tickets are $125 for an individual, $1,200 for a table of 10. This year's honoree is our very own Mishawaka Mayor Dave Wood. So please visit mishawakaedu.org. That will take you to a link to the online auction. There may be some things you can't live without. Last but not least, the 3rd annual MEF Trunk or Treat family event will take place at Mishawaka High School on Saturday, October 7th. Please help by passing along the word that we're actively looking for trunks to pass out treats. And as MEF is growing and becoming more widely known for its good work to support SEM students, and we have currently received $490,000 from 2 estates. The owners of the estates have designated that those funds be used for SCM student scholarships. Currently, MEF is waiting for the IRS recommendations on how we should proceed. So this is something new that really hasn't happened much in the past. And in 1 year to get $490,000, we are so very grateful. And again, I think because MEF is out there doing public events, the more that we can get ourselves out there, the more people will see the good things that are happening. And when they think about their future and what they would like to leave to the community, we hope that they'll consider MEF. So I thank you for the time, and thank you for being able to present today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
4.04, general public. We have no one signed up to speak. 5 is the consent agenda. 5.01, approval of the minutes of the June 14th, 2023 regular board meeting. It is recommended that the minutes of the June 14th, 2023 regular board meeting be approved as presented. 5.02, approval of the bill warrants and payroll. It is recommended that the board approve the payments of bill warrants and payroll in the amount of $5,857,270.26 from the appropriate funds. 5.03, approval of the overnight and extended student trips. It is recommended that the board approve the overnight extended field trip as presented. 5.04, approval of the job descriptions. It is recommended that the Board of School Trustees approve the job descriptions as presented. 5.05, approval of the consent agenda. It is recommended that the Board of School Trustees approve the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 6, reports and discussion items, nothing. 7, human resources. 7.01, personnel report. Mr. Laban.
Thank you, President Parks, members of the board, and guests. This evening, we're recommending the appointment of 6 certified teaching positions and 3 support staff positions for school year 23-24. Additionally, you'll see reflected on the personnel report that we would like to acknowledge a new retirement this evening, and that is in Mr. Brian Smith, Information Services Technician, currently placed at the high school. Brian was hired in November of 2001 and has served in a handful of different capacities inside of the technology department over his 10 years. With that, we extend our heartfelt appreciation to Brian for his 20-plus years of service to the corporation and wish him many rounds of golf, warm vacations, and the very best in this next chapter. And then finally, this evening, you also see the recommendation to appoint Mr. Rob Fries as the new assistant principal at Beeger Elementary. Technically, that contract would have been in effect as of July 1. He'll start here next week, pending approval this evening. Mr. Fries was a longtime teacher with Concord Community School Corporation, to which he then transitioned into a dean of students for an administration with Concord, and then has spent the last year serving as an assistant principal with Lakeland Intermediate School. And so he's not here this evening, but we certainly want to extend a big welcome to Rob, to his wife Melinda, and the entire Fries family. On behalf of Mrs. Kozik and the board, the Bulldog community is excited to get to know him and welcome in. So with that, always happy to answer any questions that the board may have, but if not, it's recommended that the Board of School Trustees approve the personnel report dated July 12th, 2023 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 7.02, consulting agreement with John Ross. Mr. Laban.
Thank you, President Parks. Similar to the past practice that we have utilized with former SCM administrators seeking assistance with the transition at the district level, the new administration at Mishawaka High School desires to utilize an experienced former leader of that building to assist with several high priority initiatives. Some of those things include the career and technical education, CTE reimbursement, the course offering guide and the development of the master schedule for the 24-25 school year, the actual master scheduling process for the 24-25 school year, and then any other responsibilities that Mr. Brew and Mrs. Mann would feel would be beneficial to them as they transition into their new roles overseeing the high school. That said, it would be recommended that the administration to approve the consulting agreement with Mr. John Ross, former principal of the high school, for some of those above mentioned services there for a period up to but not to exceed 20 days for duration to occur sporadically beginning August 1st through July 30th at a daily rate of $463.60 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I also like to thank you for your work on this, and it comes out to be $57 an hour. That's pretty cheap for a consultant.
There you go.
fee. It really is.
We haven't seen the last of John Ross.
No.
No way.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Are there any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 7.03, employee referral incentive update. Mr. Labange.
Thank you again, President Parks. The final item under HR this evening is informational only, and it's simply intended just to share an update with the board on the employee referral incentive program that was approved back in October of 2022. As a quick recap, you'll see both on the screen and in the board packet that you've been provided as well. We had three different kind of criteria or buckets, if you will, in which we were seeking to think outside of the box in terms of both recruitment and retention of new and existing employees. And so again, those three criteria as they exist, following the approval back in October, there obviously wasn't a ton of time for eligible individuals to receive the incentive. So we only had 2 who received that incentive for semester 1. However, if you look, semester 2, we had 36 instances in which those qualifications and eligibility criteria were met. It's broken down there by the substitute teachers, 7 non-certified support staff, so those who completed a 90-day probationary period, 18. And then we had 11 certified staff who were approved by the board for their positions. So collectively, just shy of $10,000 that we were able to put back into the pockets of our hardworking and dedicated staff who are really doing what we know is the best marketing and development strategy, which is word of mouth. And they're spreading the news of the good things that are happening in the corporation, and they're attracting and bringing new talent into the corporation. So really pleased with the outcome of that initiative there. And as a result, would certainly intend to continue to use that for the duration of the 23-24 school year. And again, we'll utilize federal stimulus dollars to fund those resources as well. So again, just a quick update wanted to share with everyone. Look forward to sharing again with you in December of 23.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to 8, curriculum instruction and technology, 8.01, adoption of the precision machining technology textbook and MindTap. Mr. Modlin.
Good evening, President Parks, Dr. Stevens, and members of the board. My name is Ben Modlin. I'm here tonight to present and hopefully adopt a new textbook for our precision machining pathway that we have at Mishawaka High School. Let's see. I believe you guys have the forms. Okay. Pull that up really quick. We needed a textbook last year, and we piloted a program with Cengage. We did a lot of research with 4 or 5 other companies to see what they had out there, and Cengage had the whole package. The handshake with Canvas, the online tools, they had, they had a lot of hands-on activities, a lot of virtual activities. It was really the whole picture of everything, and it goes a lot deeper than all of the other machining textbooks and manufacturing textbooks that we looked at. So really, it's recommended that it's approved tonight.
No pressure.
No pressure. Are there any questions this evening?
That's funny. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's a motion and second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There you go. Hard work. Goodness gracious. 8.02 digital learning coach grants. We have Ally.
Good evening, President Parks, Dr. Stevens, members of the board. I am Ally Schlofelt, Curriculum Integration Coordinator, and I am excited to share with you that School City of Mishawaka has been awarded the Digital Learning Coaches Grant for the year 2022-23 as well as 23-24. This grant is a competitive grant that is focused on leading and supporting the work for blended and virtual learning in the areas of supporting new teachers, universal design for learning, assistive technologies, and digital literacy. We are one of the very few districts in the state that have gotten it both years, so we're excited for that. You can go to the next slide. Thanks. So this past year, this grant allowed myself to complete the International Society for Technology Education Coaches Certification. I'm almost done with it, but it has allowed me to kind of work with coaches throughout the state to learn how to better ourselves as coaches, integrating technology, professional development, things like that. I also got to attend the Consortium of School Networking National Conference, where I was a spotlight speaker on generative AI, all that cool chat GPT stuff going on, and how our teachers and students can use that. And just today, this picture was taken. That is why I realized when I was making this, I wear the same dress in all these pictures, so it's fine. But just today, we wrapped up our EduProtocols Academy at Notre Dame, where I, along with Matt Modlin and 5 of our partners in tech and classroom teachers, got to learn about some really fun ways to integrate technology into the classroom. Moving forward, this grant, we are going to focus on universal design for learning, which is an approach that helps make education accessible to all learners through flexibility and inclusivity. Myself and 12 instructional coaches that we have will go through this course built by a lady who kind of designed universal design for learning, get our knowledge there, and then we will take 2 of them along with myself to the Center for Applied Special Technology Conference. It's usually held at Harvard, which is where the University of Universal Design for Learning was originally created. So we're excited to be able to do that. We are looking forward to this work to support the SCM technology vision. And at this time, I would like to close and open the floor for any questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations on all your hard work. We
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
9, moving into business and operations, the fun stuff begins. 9.01, approval of the quote for the DriftNet Know What SMS. Mr. Levon.
Thank you, President Parks. The administration is requesting approval of the agreement with DriftNet Securities for the Know What safety management software. Know What is DriftNet's solution to having a complete understanding of school security and safety. Basically, this platform will function as a daily hub for us to manage all of our safety operations, from things like our emergency preparedness plans to our inventory of safety equipment, safety supplies, and then eventually our visitor management as well. Additionally, Know What will keep SCM in compliance with all state and federal regulation, as it ultimately just sets a new standard for what comprehensive school safety should entail. So the funding source for this project will be the Secure School Safety Grant. As always, happy to answer any questions that the board may have, but if not, it's recommended that the Board of School Trustees approve the agreement with DriftNet in the amount of $10,800 as presented. So,
I've got a question. I think several years ago, when Holland and I first got on the board, we had a safety plan and it was hidden in a filing cabinet somewhere. Remember?
The bottom drawer.
Bottom drawer. And
Locked.
this basically is an electronic version of a safety plan that we can update and be available to everyone online.
Correct.
Quickly.
Yes, sir.
Very
Yeah.
good.
It'll allow us to basically create a more standardized template that is universal to the corporation in terms of our overall safety protocols and expectations, while still permitting individual buildings to customize those plans as it's unique and necessary for their individual locations.
Great.
Very
And
good.
this, Corey, this is a first with this company then?
Correct.
We've just saw that, okay.
Yep, yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you for the information. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 9.02, recommendation to approve food service bids for 2023-2024 school year. Mrs. Bullen.
Okay, thank you, President Parks, Dr. Stevens, members of the board. Every year annually, NESIC, they help with the bids for these certain items, dairy, produce, supplies, commodities. And so this year for the 23-24, we'd like to continue for our dairy with Prairie Farms, our produce with Creation Gardens, major food commodities, and then there was, the minutes were sent out Monday night, and I had forgot to put one on there, so our point of service, now we do have a contract with them with Heartland, or NESIC did it. So we've been using Heartland Mosaic, but just wanted everyone to know that.
Okay.
So we are looking for the favorable approval.
All right.
So moved.
Second. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think we need a buzzer. Moving on to 9.03, approval of additional serving counter at Bigger Elementary. Ms. Bolin.
Okay, thank you, President Parks. Again, we had received 3 quotes, and Stafford Smith came in with the lowest quote. So Linda Cup is looking for a favorable approval to have Stafford Smith with our new serving counter at Beaker.
Okay,
So moved.
Second?
look at there. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.04, approval of new, what is that? AccuTemp steamers for John Young Middle School and Mishawaka High School. Mrs. Bowen.
Okay, thank you. So at the high school, we received 3 quotes. Stafford Smith came in with the lowest, so we're looking for favorable approval of that one. At John Young, C&T Design and Equipment, they were the only ones that had included the extra work that Linda needed for the electrical and the drain work. So that's why you'll see that they came in at 29. But we're looking for the favorable approval for C&T Design for the steamer at John Young.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. 9.05, approval of the 2024 budget calendar. Mrs. Bowen.
Okay, thank you. So every year annually, we produce or show you the budget calendar. This year, September 13th, this is where we have to have a quorum with at least 3 members of the board here so that we can publish. We're going to show the budget workshop, also ask to be able to publish the budgets. And then, so that's September 13th. And then if you follow it through, then October 11th will be where it'll be adopted by the board.
So September 13th and October 11th, we need 3 board members. Okay. All right.
So the rest of us don't have to be.
Yeah, you don't have to. No, you have to enjoy the presentation.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10, policy updates. 10.01, first reading of policy updates, volume 35, number 2, Mrs. Pettit and Dr. Stevens.
Good evening, Board. This is update, volume 35, number 2, April 2023 from Neola. The update includes proposed revisions to 32 policies, 2 new proposed policies, and 8 policies with just technical corrections. The proposed ongoing work with their Indiana clients, as well as a review of statutory language at the state and federal levels, and court decisions, Office for Civil Rights Investigations, and et cetera. Neola will make revisions to policies and guidelines impacted by legislation passed in this most recent session this fall. So I know we're awaiting a number of things there. Okay, I'm just going to highlight a few policies. It was really quite a simple packet for the most part, nothing too major happening. Policy bylaw 0144.1, compensation for board members. They added a new stipulation that board members, on top of their yearly stipend they get, the amount you get per meeting cannot exceed that of Indiana Public School Board Commissioners. So whatever that may be, we can never go over that for,
We just, 6 cents?
We're getting loaded on.
okay. One of the new policies, 1425, is for nursing mothers. I provided an update to Mr. Laban for HR, and the law is going to take effect in the next few months and will cover all public school employers, and most school employees. In response, we are adding policy content related to nursing mothers in 1425. So that's all for that. Policy 1615, tobacco use prevention. This policy has been revised to reflect the recommendations of the Indiana Department of Health's Tobacco Prevention and Cessation Team. It now includes all the different forms of tobacco that are out there. So before, I don't think it included some of the new lingo and talk about vapes and all that. So it's just including all those new things that we have to deal with now. Okay, policy 2510, adoption of curriculum materials. This policy was revised before Senate Bill 395 was passed to eliminate book fees in the state of Indiana. We went ahead and just removed that verbiage and to the fee collections and such. And there will be more updates coming in the fall on that one. Okay. The last one I want to highlight is policy 4120, employment of support staff. The policy has been revised to reflect the requirements that are now allowed to utilize for hiring Title I paraprofessionals. It's more flexible. We had always, if they didn't have the qualifications stated by the state, we administered a parapro test. But the qualifications have changed a little bit, like 48 hours of college credits instead of 60. And we are now working on implementing a video lessons for those new employees. And we can do that rather than have to have them pass that parapro, which was sometimes a lot, especially for, all of the higher math and such when some of them were coming in to be kindergarten aides. So we're very excited about that change in law. So that's all I have tonight. If you have any questions, you can also bring those back to the second reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Thank you.
11 is Superintendent's Report and action items. Dr. Stevens.
Thank you, President Parks. As we round out the meeting, in case you haven't noticed, first I want to make sure I thank everybody involved in helping to rearrange the boardroom. Hopefully you noticed that it's different than it was last time. We're going now sort of lengthwise, a little bit wider. But I do want to point out that the number of chairs in the audience is exactly the same number of chairs that we had before. Everything is essentially the same. We've just tried to rearrange a few things to create a little more open space and a few different opportunities. One of which is if we have patrons or we're honoring employees or things of this nature, now we can take their picture in front of the school city flag and post that on social media and things of this nature and not have to duck down, get out of the way, have board members move and that type of stuff. So thanks to the folks who helped put this all together. Appreciate that. Next, Shar Spiker sort of stole some thunder, but that's absolutely appropriate. The MEF golf outing on Monday. A special thank you to everybody involved in that event. As a participant in the event, what an amazing place, what a great venue, but there is a lot of work, and Shar has done a lion's share of that work, so kudos to you and kudos to MEF for pulling off that event. It's very successful, very well attended, and obviously it's grown from the first time to now substantially. So well done, and the students will benefit for years to come, so thank you for that. Then next, a quick SCM project sort of information. This is a special thank you to all of our folks in the operations department and numerous contractors that are working on a variety of projects. I'm not going to get them all, but the reoriented soccer field behind I'll say behind Emmons, has sod, and of course, they continue to work on the new playground area closer to Emmons, if you see that work being done up here against Emmons in the Ad Center. LaSalle Playground has been removed, and then they can continue to proceed with that earthwork, but that's moving forward. But a lot of action around LaSalle if you haven't been over there. MHS is going to see refreshed West Gym. That's coming along nicely. The indoor track above the gym coming along nicely. The band and choir rooms are getting redone. And last but not least, earlier this week, I believe Monday, concrete was poured for the second tennis court that was updated out there. So they're moving and shaking all around School City. And again, special thanks. I know Steve Miskin keeps track of a lot of that stuff. And it's a lot. There's a lot going on almost in every building, things going on. In addition to these special projects, then our custodial maintenance staff continue their work in preparing the buildings for the first day of school, cleaning, painting, scrubbing floors, etc., waxing floors after that. So we appreciate the work done by all the parties mentioned, because all those folks are doing great work to help school open successfully, and all those will be benefiting our students this fall. And we just want to pass along our thanks to those fine individuals involved. So with that, that concludes the information from my superintendent's report, but happy to entertain questions the board may have. And again, if there are none, Mrs. Parks, back to you.
Wonderful, thank you for the information. 12, communications, 12.01, public announcements. The next meeting of the school, City of Mishawaka School Board of Trustees is August 2nd, 2023. If there is nothing else to come before the board, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Right at 6:30. Half hour, that's pretty good.
That worked. Okay.
Like 10 minutes of questions.